All right. I'm going to try and go into presenter mode. If you cannot see my slides, please message my husband and he will come down here and tell me, because I cannot see you guys and I will not get the message on my phone. Okay. All right. Let me make sure that I hit record too. I'm always paranoid that I did something wrong. Okay, we are there. Okay, so you all, we have a large team of dental professionals, from hygienists, a lot of hygienists. I was a hygienist, so I attract a lot of dental hygienists into the business just because of my personal story. We have several dental assistants, and we have even some people that do like front desk and office managers and everything. So I thought this is really a great opportunity to center a call around how the business relates so much to dental professionals, because I love bringing dental professionals into the business, because the lingo I use to give you examples, I can easily use analogies from being a hygienist or being in the dental office versus your coaching business. It is very similar, very, very, very similar. And I'm really excited to go over this with you. And I think every time I say it to a hygienist, when I'm like explaining, or an assistant, any dental professional, but anytime I give an example, it's like, boom, they got it. It clicked. So I thought, why don't we do a whole call just kind of talking about this? And this is even going to be a recorded call that as you bring people on board that's in the dental community, you can pass this on to them. So they get a better understanding of the relationship between coaching and the relationship between being a dental professional too. Okay. All right, this is how I wanted to start a call. This was my aha moment as I was thinking, how do I want to kick off this call tonight? And this was my last minute slide that I added. And I really wanted to go over the business model of coaching versus being in a dental office, okay? Because oftentimes, I don't really get it anymore, but in the beginning, a lot of times I'd have kickback and people would be like, oh, is that a pyramid thing? And I'm like, okay, let me explain to you. Like, I think the thing is you guys, I actually said this to my sponsor, who's also a hygienist, and her husband's a pediatric dentist, but I was like, oh, you mean like the pyramid thing? Like you sign up people, da, da, da. I didn't really know what a pyramid was, honestly. But you guys, let me kind of explain. Okay, so Beachbody it goes off a binary system. We have two legs, right? We have products, we have customers, we have coaches, we have goods that we sell to our customers, and there is no real hierarchy in our business, okay? So let me kind of explain that. The business model to the left is your Beachbody business, okay? So no matter what, you signed up and you're on somebody's right leg or somebody's left leg, and whatever these legs are, you learn that as you get into the business. If you're a brand new coach, you're like, what the heck you talking about? But you'll learn that as you get into the business. But I want to share with you guys that no matter where you signed up at, okay, when you signed up, okay, you can outproduce whoever signed up years before you, way before you, no matter where they're at in somebody's organization, you can outdo them in income at any point in time, okay? So this is kind of an example. Somebody at the very top making $100,000 a year, these are arbitrary numbers, and then somebody at the bottom making $1 million a year, right? That can happen, you all. Just because somebody is signed up before someone else, it doesn't matter. It's how you build your team and how you work the business and the effort that you put into it. So what I knew is that the harder I worked and the more effort I put into my business, the more income I was going to make, right? So the person who may have signed up like 2 years before me or way before me or whatever, they don't put in the same work and the same effort as me. I will surpass them in income. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where they're placed, because they're not putting in the effort to build their business. Now, let me share with you guys the business model of a dental office, or you can also use a basic business model of a CEO, but I like using the dental office because this is our call. So the dentist or the owner of the practice, they're always going to be at the top, right? Nobody underneath of them is ever going to make more unless you are like, I mean, it's just probably never going to happen, right? It wouldn't even make sense unless you're working like double, triple, quadruple hours. And then there's the associate dentist, who's usually going to make, less. And then there's the hygienist and the office manager and the assistant. And so there's a hierarchy in the dental practice, right? And the person that is at the bottom, unless they work more hours or they go to school and further their education to become a hygienist or to become a dentist or to own their own practice, they are never going to see the income that the person at the top is, right? That is the true pyramid, you all. Like that is the true person at the top making all the money, as all the people underneath of them, they may be killing themselves to put in all the effort they can to be an awesome dental assistant, an awesome dental hygienist. You all, I produce so much for my dental practice, production-wise. And, I was never going to rise above. It wasn't going to happen. I had to work more hours. And I knew that, you all. Like, I worked during my lunch. I came in early. I stayed late. And it was my own fault that I burnt myself out, because I worked on an office that was commission-based. And I knew that the more production I could produce, then they would end up paying me more, okay? And that was me being on a commissioned office. And a lot of offices aren't even like that. They're gonna work you to death, and you may work only for hourly, right? They'll say, hey, will you stay through your lunch? Can you come in early and see this SRP patient? Do you mind to stay a half an hour later? Do you mind to come in on your day off? Y'all, been there, done that. You're in the pay doesn't change, right? You're killing yourself and the pay doesn't freaking change. That's what made me fall in love with coaching. Because when I started coaching and I put in the effort and I put in the work, then my income started going up, 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 up. No matter where I signed in at, no matter how late I started, I was surpassing people that had been signed up before, years before me. I was going way beyond them. That's because I was putting in the work and the effort. So you all have to understand that this is how this business works. That's a business model. That's why I flippin' love Beachbody. That's why I love coaching. That's why I love this business, because I get rewarded for the more work I put into. We're in the dental office. Was I going to get a higher bonus? Sure. But it's no comparison to what I'm doing now with coaching. Nowhere near. Okay. So let's talk about the similarities between coaching, okay, and we should say your Beachbody client versus your dental patient, okay? The number one thing that you do when your dental patient comes into the office is you collect medical history, right? You take their blood pressure, you ask what their chief complaint is, you take their x-rays to document. We had something called a spectra, which I misspelled on there. I'm not sure if you know what it is. It's a cavity detector. And then we would perio chart, right? We collected data in order to quote unquote diagnose, because we know as hygienists you can't really diagnose, but y'all know that we did. But you collect data, but you also collect data to back up your diagnosis, right? Like if they came in and as soon as they walked in and I could smell their breath and I seen their teeth and I was like, woo, scaling and root planing, let me treatment plan that along with a Reston and the Sonicare toothbrush. And then you're also going to need probably nitrous on there because you seem kind of anxious. Can't do that, right? Like you would never do that when they walked in the door. So why is it would be any different with your Beachbody client, right? They reach out to you, or they say they're interested, which is what happens when your patient comes to the dental office. They want to be seen, right? They want a service from you. Your Beachbody client wants the same thing. And then all of a sudden you regurgitate, hey, yeah, you should get Beachbody on Demand and you should get Shakeology and it's really good. I love it too. And this is the program I'm doing. And here it is, it's $160. Whoa, right? You didn't collect any data to back up why your services, why your treatment plan, what you're recommending for their solution to their problem is going to benefit them, okay? You need to ask them what their goals and struggles are. Every time, you guys, I walk through this with you all one by one. When somebody is interested, I always say, okay, tell them I really want to give you information. I can't wait to share more with you. But we have so much to offer. I want to make sure I align you with the proper thing. I first need to know, like, what are your goals and where do you feel you struggle? It's very easy. You all, just like you talk to your dental patient, they walk in and you say, you know, what's going on? Has anything been bothering you today? What's your chief complaint? Is there anything that hurts you? You know, you ask those questions. You've got to do that with your client too. You can't just word vomit on them, do this, do this, do this. You got to ask them before giving them any information. Okay, let them know, I want to give you information, but I first want to know more about you to see how I can help you, or what I would recommend for you. I first need to know, what are your goals and struggles, right? Okay, they're going to appreciate that. You're listening to them. That's all they want. I had a girl today, and she may be on this call, Melissa. She said, I'm more of a listener. I'm like, great, you're going to be a freaking awesome coach, because that is what a coach does. It listens. We ask the right questions and we listen, okay? And because you're listening, then you're building trust with them and they know that you care, right? So you're going to ask them maybe about their past experiences. What have they tried before, right? What have you tried before and that hasn't worked? I continue asking questions, right? I become a very good listener. I collect a lot of data. I ask them, how's their nutrition? If they didn't mention anything about nutrition, I definitely always ask them, how's your nutrition? Like, do you struggle any in that area? Do you feel like you're lost in that area? What fitness level are you at right now? Typically, the fitness level question does not come until I'm recommending a fitness program for them. And what you guys may be surprised about is I don't recommend a fitness program until somebody's bought a challenge pack, okay? Until they have went through that process, then I'm gonna help them pick a fitness program, right? Unless they're interested in, and right now I'm just giving everybody 10 rounds because it's the same price as a base bundle. Okay. But if there's like a specific program they're interested in, then I may be like, oh, you know, is there a fitness program that you've seen me doing that you like? But typically I just give it to them because it's the same cost. Okay. So collecting data is crucial in both the dental practice and your Beachbody business. All right. Practice what you preach. Be products of the products. Recommend what you use, right? Okay, you guys, I cannot tell you, as a hygienist, I knew going into dental hygiene school that I needed to floss every day, right? It was like obvious. Like I was seeing all these people and I was like, whoa, don't want my teeth to be like that. But beforehand, I wasn't really practicing what I preached. And when I started doing it, and I started becoming more consistent at my flossing, it was so easy to be like, you really need the floss, and like, here's some examples of, you know, what can happen if you don't. And I often shared my personal story with multiple patients of how I had a hard time committing to flossing, and that as a high schooler and even my early college years, I rarely flossed at all. And I told them what it took for me was seeing other people and what could happen to their teeth, and I knew I didn't want it to happen to me. Okay, I use my own personal story to connect to them and help them see that I'm not like preaching to them, floss, floss, floss. I was sharing with them my struggle not being able to floss, and I also would tell them my story of how I overcame that obstacle, right? For me, it was having floss laying all around my house, and it's still like that to this day, you guys. There's like floss everywhere in my house. My husband always jokes about it, but I have it visible at all times right there in front of me, and I would share that story, and you don't know how many people I was able to help get into a flossing routine because of that. Guys, that's what you do in your business. That's what you do as coaches, right? We share our obstacles that we had or that we currently have and what we're doing to work on them in our health and fitness, nutrition journey, everything. It's no different. But you're going to connect with people. You're going to help more people when you share that was a struggle for you. You're going to attract those people that have that same struggle because they're going to be interested on how you overcame that obstacle, right? So I also share how I'm working on overcoming that obstacle, right? I may not be perfect. And I always tell people like flossing was kind of a habit that took me a little while. And even now I kind of miss here and there, but like I'm so much better because now I have floss laying everywhere, right? It's not any different in your Beachbody business. That's what we're doing. We're sharing with people what our struggles or our obstacles are, and we're sharing with them how we overcome them, right? So you want to know your products. You want to be using your products it's really hard for me to go and recommend to somebody to floss or to use a Sonicare toothbrush, but like I don't use one, right? So belief starts with you first. My example is going to be a Sonicare toothbrush because you guys don't know how many patients I would have come in. And I would recommend the Sonicare brush because they were having gingivitis or battling periodontal disease, whatever it may be. And or they were a young kid or had braces or whatever. I love the brush. I recommended it to everybody. I sold like tons of Sonicare toothbrushes. But it's $100 toothbrush, you all, okay? The one with the sanitizer was like $140. And it was a toothbrush. And they were used to like the $2 cheapy free toothbrushes, right? How did I get so many people to buy that Sonicare toothbrush? Belief. All right. They would ask me, do you really think it's worth $100? I say, well, it's the only thing I've used since dental hygiene school. I bought my husband one. I got both my parents one for Christmas and my kid uses one. So yeah, I do. And it would be, I would always tell them like, it gets, you know, at least up to 4 millimeters underneath your gums. It doesn't replace flossing, but you're going to be able to actually get a little bit underneath of your gingival tissue and get a little bit further than what you could with a regular toothbrush. The sonic vibrations is one of the top out there, is the Sonicare company that has a patent on it. I knew my product, you all, like, woo, I can't believe I still remember all that stuff because it's been 4 years since I've really practiced, but I knew my product, right? I know my products with Shakeology. Okay, I know that they don't have any junk in them. I know that they are more than a protein drink. I know that they are not just a weight loss drink. I don't even title them as a weight loss drink. I really, or a meal replacement drink. I think it says that on the packaging. I don't even really like that because we give this stuff to our kids. It's a nutritional drink, and this is what backs it up. And so I can sit and tell people, essentially selling the product, right? Like everybody has such a hard time thinking, oh, I'm going to sell to people. Y'all, we're going to talk about that in a second, but you sold every day as a dental hygienist, but you sold to them things that you believed, right? I believed in a Sonicare toothbrush. Did it cost them $100? Sure. Would I pay $100? Yeah, I did. I paid it for my entire family because I thought the toothbrush was amazing. I feel like everybody needed one. So it was really an easy sell because I had belief in the product. I used the product and I loved it, right? Okay, so overcoming obstacles. I give you guys my flossing example. This could verse workout motivation, right? Like people are always like, how do you stay so motivated? If you don't share with them how you're getting up every morning and maybe working out at 5 a.m. or how you're committing to your workout when you have a newborn or how you're committing to your workout when you're working full time, then you're going to have that obstacle from them all the time. But if you're putting it out there, if you're showing up in your story and talking about it and posting about it and being open about how you're making this work in such a crazy busy schedule, then you're going to eliminate that obstacle from people, right? They're not going, like you all, like I attracted so many people when I was pregnant because people are like, damn, like here this 35-week pregnant girl is over here doing like some of these burpees and stuff and I won't even get off the couch. Like I eliminated so many people's excuse during that time because I was, you know, showing up. All right. So you got to show them how you overcome your obstacles and kind of talk them through it. Okay. All right. Full patient and client care. Okay. So this is what we are providing. When somebody walks into your dental practice, I had a lot of pride in my job as a hygienist, and I offered full patient care. I was never, in the beginning, was I scared to talk to them about scaling and root planning? And was I scared if their insurance didn't cover something? Absolutely. I was like, holy cow, this person's insurance isn't covering anything. This cleaning is going to be $1,000. But I did not let that stand in my way, okay? In the beginning, it was really scary. And I was probably like shaky voice and trying to explain it and super nervous and very awkward, right? But you cannot be scared to recommend what they need. And the more confidence you have in what you're offering because you have belief, right? It is helping you. You have belief. You're using the products yourself. And belief, sometimes you guys, if you're somebody brand new and you're like, well, I don't have belief, I'm just getting started. Right, none of us did. None of us in the beginning had belief. I started without even doing a fitness program or doing a challenge group. I was totally clueless. And when I bought the 21 Day Fix was my program and I seen all these containers, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I almost returned it, you guys, because I was like, I already eat pretty good. Like, I really don't think I need this. And my husband was like, just return it. Get that T25 you're looking at. And I'm like, no. I'm going to go ahead and go through with this. Y'all, I did it for 21 days and I was like, holy cow. Like, it transformed me. And I seen a big difference in how I felt and how I looked and everything. So, you know, my point is that you want to make sure that you are really recommending the full solution to people. Okay. In the beginning, is it going to be scary because you don't really know what to say? Absolutely. But the only way you're going to get better at that is not more training. Okay. It's not more training. It's experience. You all, dental hygiene school, did it give me the knowledge? Absolutely. Where did I become the best hygienist that I could be? In the office, chairside, experience. All right. More people are going to hire you in any profession from experience than they are over your education. Fact. My sister works for a bank and her husband, and they're at the top of the company, and neither of them have a college degree in banking, but they work their way up the ladder. Experience. That's what people, they cared about, right? Because experience allows you to get better at this, but you're never going to get experience unless you don't start. You got to start. We all start from the bottom and we work our way up when it comes to the experience. So I'm going to kind of give you two examples, Profi versus Perio, right? The person walks in, they assume they'll get their free cleaning, all right? And you're like, oh, you got a 6 and 7 millimeter pocket. You're not getting a free cleaning today. Explaining for the first time is always awkward and uncomfortable, right? Like, I used to stand outside the room of a hygienist that had been doing it for 10 years. The first time that I started working, I was dental assisting. And you all, if you guys didn't know, I actually assisted through college. I was a dental assistant for a year. And then I did it kind of off and on until I got my hygiene license, as like it allowed me through my breaks and stuff. Gosh, couldn't spit that out. So anyways, when I was waiting for my hygiene license to come through, I would assist the hygienist, and I would stand outside her room, and I was graduated then waiting for my license, and I would listen to her, and I'm like, oh my God, she sounds so good. Like, I will never be able to sound like that. Like, she explains it so thoroughly. She's just so clear. Everything makes sense of what she's saying. Like, oh, like I would be a hot mess. And then when my hygiene license came, I was exactly what I thought I'd be, a hot mess. And I was like, oh, so I would start listening to her more and more and more. And then I would start continuing to kind of mimic kind of some of the things that she was saying. And I would step out of the room and ask her questions and ask her for help or advice. You guys, you don't do that every day in your coaching business. How many times do you guys reach out to me and say, hey, I got this person and I need to know what to say? Like, you always sound so good, right? We all started at the very bottom. All right, even as a hygienist, you guys were clueless, but you got really good at it with experience, okay? So keep that in mind. You got to be asking more questions in the beginning. It makes it easier to connect the need that that patient has for perio. So I already explained that. They can't walk through the door and you're like automatic diagnosis. No, you have to collect data. You have to ask the right questions, and then you can take what treatment plan they need and you can connect it. You can explain, well, this is what your x-rays look like. Do you see bone loss? Do you see the calculus underneath of your gums? Can you see that you, when I did your charting, you had 6 and 7 millimeter pockets and there was bleeding here and bleeding there, right? I can take and collect all that data, and they may have told me I don't floss, or they may say I haven't had my teeth cleaned in like 5 years. I can take all of those things and say, this is why I'm recommending you have this, right? Okay, so let's go over Beachbody On Demand versus Challenge Pack, okay? Sorry, I need a drink of water. So many times I see that coaches will share fitness, okay? So your people are interested because you share so much about fitness, and you don't talk anything about the nutritional side of things what the supplements help you with, or they even use the supplements, right? Like it's like this hidden thing that you don't want to talk about. Why? That's what's really helping you. You all, fitness is great, okay? It's 20% of my results, if even, maybe 15. My results come from the nutritional side that Beachbody has to offer. So when I have somebody that maybe they're just interested in Beachbody on demand, all right, I have to learn to navigate them into talking about the full solution. So that's where I have learning to navigate from their feels difficult in the beginning, right? Because you're like, how do they ask me about this fitness program, but how do I talk about this? Very easy. Hey, yeah, I love this fitness program I'm doing. It's great. I love the streaming. It makes it super convenient. It's really nice during everything that's going on right now because I definitely don't want to be headed to the gym. You know, what are you doing anything for fitness right now? And have you set any goals for this year? Is there anywhere that you struggle with? Maybe I can help, right? I just took that conversation and I navigated it to goals, struggles, and how can I help, right? Very easy. So you have to learn to steer your conversation. So if they ask you about Beachbody on Demand, give them a little clip. Yeah, I love it. It's me. Like, you know, what are you doing for fitness? Have you set any goals this year? Is there anywhere that you struggle, right? And if they come back and they say, oh, I struggle with motivation, they don't say anything about nutrition. You know what I do then? I steer the conversation. Well, how's your nutrition? Do you feel like you struggle any there? Or do you have, you know, is there anything that you feel like you need a little more guidance with? And typically, you guys, probably 90% of the people say they struggle with nutrition. So then I'm like, I can help. All right. And that's where everything comes into play, where I can start talking about the eating plan and I can start recommending the supplements, right? But even if they're like, oh, no, my nutrition's really good and I just need the motivation. Performance, guys. Challenge Pack also includes Energize and Muscle Recover, okay? If they're into the working out part and their nutrition is good, recommend the performance line. Everybody loves Energize. Everybody needs that boost of energy, but you guys, I know Energize very well. So I have listened to like a 3 or 4 minute video from the creator of it. It's really great. He breaks down all the ingredients and I've pretty much memorized it because I've listened to it and I sent it to so many clients. But guys, Energize, it doesn't just give you energy. It actually uses the ingredient within it, I think it's the beta alkaline. It goes into the muscles and it decreases the lactic acid buildup in your muscles, which means it buffers out the muscle soreness when you're working out so you can push harder. Do you know what it means when you can push harder? You burn more calories, all right? They're gonna burn more calories. That's how I explain it to people. I'm like, oh, you need to get energized. Not only does it give you a boost of energy, but it's gonna decrease the lactic acid buildup in your body that causes you to be super sore when you're working out. That way you can even push harder and you're gonna burn more calories. And they're like, yes, give me Energize, please. And then anytime somebody's starting a new fitness routine, muscle recover, right? Muscle recover, when you're using the recover drink post-workout, it's going to reduce the soreness. It's going to not eliminate it. It's going to reduce it and decrease the level of time that you're sore when starting a new fitness program. And it's going to help muscle repair. So therefore, you're going to get better results. All right. So know your products, right? And learn how to steer and navigate your conversation. Asking more questions will help you to transition into sharing the full solution, right? So I ask more questions. What are you doing for fitness? Have you set any goals for this year? Where do you struggle at, right? And I don't list it. I write it like I'm talking to them as they're like my best friend, okay? Or they're my patient. They're my patient, right? Like I'm just going to talk to them and ask more questions to collect more data so I can steer the conversation to talk about the nutritional side of things, because I know that I want to offer full patient or full client care. I don't want to half-ass this and just say, oh, this is, let me just get on Beachbody on Demand because I don't want to talk about the other stuff. Hell no, I'm going to be awesome. Like I was awesome as a hygienist, I'm awesome as a coach. I'm going to recommend the things that people need because I want to help them and I want to help them get results. Because honestly, guys, Beachbody on Demand is a $40 commission versus a challenge pack, which is $160 and it's a $50 commission. It's not that much more in commission, but I have created I've given them a much better solution and package option to help them get results. So what's going to happen when they get better results? They're going to continue using Shakeology. They're going to maybe become an active coach and help me partner up with me and help me grow this business together. But when I'm just offering the Beachbody on Demand, I just know it's just kind of like half-assing it. So I really try to give people full patient or full client care, okay? So that's where I talk about. Start with a full solution. Don't give them an a la carte options. All right, my hygiene coordinator, this was one thing she drilled into us, that she did not want us to give a la carte, right? She wasn't like, when we gave a treatment plan, she wanted it to all be on there. Like, she's like, put it all on there, what they need. Don't say, like, here's a treatment plan, but you could also do this, or you can do this. She's like, just put it all on there and present that to them, right? So that's what I do. I present a full solution. I recommend a challenge pack, all right? I also recommend them adding on a nutritional program because I know that's what's going to maximize and give them results. So when I have somebody get a Beachbody On Demand challenge pack, I typically always sign them up for the coach discount. I sign them up as a coach. And I have them get the Ultimate Portion Fix is the one that I typically get everybody started on because I think it's important for people to understand their portions over anything, at least at first. So I get them started on that, and it's an add-on price of $36 at the coach discount. Like, it's a no-brainer to me. So I I include that within everything that I suggest. I don't say, well, you can add this on later. No, it's gonna cost them more later. Add it onto their package so that way they get the discounted rate. And if you guys are a new coach, you guys all know, like, oh yeah, Danielle, let me get that. Okay, so stop prejudging your patients and clients. They will end up mad at you. Trust me, when you don't share the promotions, the discounts, the things that we have to offer, and allow them to get a discounted package deal, and they find out, oh, well, I could have got that. Well, why didn't you tell them, right? You just sold them Beachbody On Demand, and now they are paying, you know, $130 for Shakeology, and they bought everything separate because you never gave them the full solution. You prejudged and thought they didn't want to do it. You didn't ask enough questions, right? So they're going to be mad at you. Don't do that. They will notice that you didn't really care enough to ask more questions or collect data, right? I would. Don't be the girl that didn't diagnose the patient correctly. Well, I'm going to use an example of my stepdad. So my stepdad for years went to our hometown dentist, and he, sorry, I keep checking my phone to make sure my slides are showing. But anyways, so he went to our hometown dentist for like 20 years. And so finally, he started seeing me. I had probably been practicing for like, I don't know, like 3 years at that point. I practiced for a total of about 9 years in hygiene. And he finally started to come see me. Well, he came to see me, and he had been going religiously to the dentist every 6 months. My parents are very hardworking, blue-collar people, and, you know, small town. And when he came to me, I did his perio charting. Teeth looked great. He had one tooth that had a 6, almost 7 millimeter pocket. It was on the distal of tooth number 3. No, tooth number 2. And I stuck my probe in there. I looked at the x-ray. He had a big old chunk of calculus back there. Y'all, he had just went to see his dental hygienist 6 months prior and had been seeing them consistently. I was so pissed off. I was like, how can they let your teeth go like this? And not only that, they were putting in fillings that should have been crowns. Like, they were doing patchwork, right? They were prejudging him because I was from a small town that is typically known to have a low income rate. And they prejudged my stepdad to be someone that wouldn't have the money to do the treatment he needed, because he needed several crowns. And he came to our office. All right, I diagnosed him with periodontal disease. It was mainly just that tooth, and the tooth in front of it was having all the issues. We lost the tooth, okay? It had too much bone loss. We lost the tooth. And he ended up getting like 4 or 5 crowns from us. Y'all, he'd been going to the dentist every 6 months. They were patching him up. They were not suggesting what he needed. Don't be that coach, okay? If you really want to help somebody, ask them more questions. Don't just assume they don't have the money to do something. You all, because I've seen people who, they don't get paid very much. They do live low income, but they are so hungry and ready to change They are wanting to do anything that's going to make them feel better. And if I would prejudge them and be like, oh, well, we can start you off with a trial and then maybe you can do a Shakeology sampler pack. No, I give them the full solution. And then at that point, I work my way back. I don't go a la carte. I work my way back. How can I help them now? How can I meet them where they're at, right? Do not prejudge people, because they're going to go to another coach that's going to help them, and the other coach is going to be like, why didn't that coach ever recommend this? This could have really helped you, right? And then that other coach all of a sudden is helping them lose weight and you didn't. Don't be that person. Okay. All right. Every day you are selling what you know they need, right? So I don't know how many people I talk to in the everyday setting, especially the dental professionals too. They're like, oh, I just don't want to sell to people. I'm like, really? Because when your dental patient comes in, they come in only expecting maybe a limited exam. What do we try to do as dental providers? See if you can get them to do a comprehensive exam, right? See if they'll do the comprehensive exam, right? So after they do that, then what do we try to do? We'll see if they'll stay for treatment. Do you think they'll want to do a filling or maybe get their teeth cleaned today, right? And then what do we do when SRP? We're selling them on having a scaling and root planing instead of having their pro fee that their insurance covered, right? They're most likely going to pay out of pocket. There's not a whole lot of insurances that cover that at 100%. And then we're recommending Arrestin. I don't know hardly any insurances that cover Arrestin, right? Nitrous, not many cover nitrous unless you're under a certain age. Sealants, nobody covers adult sealants. Sometimes they don't even cover it for kids. Fluoride, I make sure everybody gets fluoride and they all have to pay out of pocket if they're over a certain age. Sonicare, we've already talked about that one. A water pick, Prevident, whitening, whatever. You guys are selling every freaking day to your patient, but you're not profiting from it because you're making hourly wages. The dentist is, or the owner of the company, right? But you're producing income for your dental office, all right? Your Beachbody clients, and I want to tell you, as the patient, you are only recommending things they need, all right? You know they need those things, so you recommend it. But the profit goes to the dental office. It goes to the dental owner. As your Beachbody client, you're only going to recommend things that you feel like they need. Right? We don't ever you guys, there's sometimes I tell people to get certain things off Amazon because I'm like, oh, you don't want to pay Beachbody shipping. Like, just go to Amazon. Like, they had already just bought something from me and then they wanted to turn around and like buy something that was cost me. Like, I had a girl wanted a shaker cup from Canada. She's like, will you add on a shaker cup? And I was like, okay. It's going to cost her like $20 to ship the shaker cup. I'm like, just go to Amazon and buy a shaker cup. Like, I'm not going to make people buy things that like she could go get that off Amazon. I'm going to recommend the things that they need, right? So a challenge pack, Shakeology, the performance supplements, Ultimate Portion Fix, 2B Mindset, our nutritional programs, beach bars, boost, collagen, 3-day refresh, bod. All of those things are things that we sell and that we offer and that we know will help them, right? Or we wouldn't recommend it. We know that these things will help them because they told us, we collected data, we know what their problem is, and now we have a solution to our products. But here's the difference. All right, you get a commission off that. The money goes towards you. It goes towards you. It helps to bring in an income for your family, and it's how you're paid for your time because you are a free coach to them. They're going to message you. They're going to ask you questions. They're going to be in your challenge groups. They're going to be connected to you. You're going to follow them through their journey. I've helped people that have told me I would pay you way more than $50 that it cost me to pay that. It cost me for that challenge pack because you've changed my life. Guys, get out of your head about it being selling because you're selling something every day at your dental office. You're just not getting the money from it. You're giving it to the dental office owner. Like, why is it okay, right? It's okay to build your business and bring in an income. This is for your family, right? This is for your services. You are a free coach and you're going to be with them to help them through this. Okay, so treat it like a business. Patient schedule versus your BAT. If you don't know your BAT, it's your business activity tracker. If you're a brand new coach, you're going to see this in the new coach training. We actually try to do a power hour once a week on going over the income producing activities in your business activity tracker every Monday. But my question is, would you ever walk into work and just wing the entire day, not knowing what your schedule is? Because I know as a hygienist, the first thing that I did was I sat down at the computer, I clocked in, I printed out my schedule, I wrote down all the data I had previously collected from that patient, from the patient notes to when did they last have their x-rays, when did they last have fluoride, what treatment do they need. I knew what my day looked like, all right? So why should it be any different when you go into your Beachbody business? If you're not following anything, that's what the business activity tracker helps you do. It helps you check that box so you know that you're doing the appropriate things to build and grow your business, right? Along with joining us for Power Hours and watching the Power Hour Deconstructed video will really help break down the business activity tracker. That is in Unit 1 of our Team On My Tone page if you guys aren't familiar with it. But that helps you work from a list, just like working from a schedule. So you know what your day is going to look like. But I also want to point out, I know that a lot of times coaches don't check into the team page. They're oblivious to what's going on in the team page, or they're oblivious what's going on in their coach line office because they don't check those things. You guys, in order to run a business, you have to know what's going on in your coach line office. You have to know when your new things are happening, right? You have to know when things are being posted on the team page that could help you in your business. Maybe it's a tip from a coach, or maybe it's something new that's happening. Maybe it's a new group we're opening. Maybe it's what our marketing plan is going to look like for May, right? You have to be doing those things, or you're not going to have any idea. You're not going to know what kind of promotions we have this month. So you don't know what you'll be able to offer your clients, or how to verbalize what we have to offer if you don't even know what's going on this month. And the team page is going to be your resource for that. But we also get an email from Beachbody called Coach Breaking News that also gives you guys all the information too, okay? And I know for my PS coaches, I send out a newsletter. And so a newsletter happens once a week, okay? All right, work hours versus your business hours. So one thing I want to say to you guys is, if you treat this like a business, it will eventually pay you like a business. But you have to treat it like a business that's paying you right now, because in the beginning, it's not. It's going to be a slow grow. But if you don't set aside having work hours, all right, how can you ever really grow into this? So when you clock in as a hygienist, you know you're clocking in at 8 a.m., you're leaving at 4, right? You need to set that with your Beachbody business, all right? After your kids go to bed or whatever, the night settles in, are you going to work your business from 8 to 9? Are you going to work your business from 8 to 10? Jessica Jangrosso actually shared on our Power Hour call last night that in the beginning, yeah, did she work it for an hour? Yes, but now she works it for multiple hours because she loves it. She has more time. Even when she doesn't have time, she was doing it at night. She sees her income growing. You guys, and that's another thing that I want to share with you all. Like, Jessica's a fairly new coach with us. She's been on the team for about a year and a half now. And her income has surpassed, a lot of coaches have been signed up with the business for 6 years since the beginning with me. And that's because she works her tail off. She works her business. She takes it super serious, and she sets business hours and she sticks to them, right? And she does it every day. So it's really important to be working from a list, okay? Guys, a recall list. I think all the dental professionals on here should be very familiar with a recall list, because I know when I didn't have a patient, I had to go work the recall list and ask somebody if they wanted to come in. Hey, your cleaning is set up for 2 weeks from now. Do you want to go ahead and come in today? I was always trying to fill my schedule. You guys, I worked on a commission base. So when I was clocked in and not producing any income for the business, that was bad on my commission, right? So I needed to bring people in. I was working that recall list. I'm like, come on, somebody come in. Anybody with a scale and root cleaning would be awesome, because that was higher production and that was really good for my income. Follow-up list in your Beachbody business, okay? Your recall list is like your follow-up list. You cannot be scared to follow up with people, okay? People who said no, right? All the time in the dental offices, you have people that left the dental office that did not schedule their scaling or root cleaning. They did not schedule getting that crown or root canal, right? We call them, we follow up with them. We still try to get them in our schedule, right? It's the same thing with your Beachbody business. And you guys, honestly, a lot of people, I would get to move up or go ahead and come in often. Why? Because I reached out to them. Would they have called our dental office that day and say, hey, do you have an opening? Probably not. But the fact that I reached out to them, that brought them in, right? That's how you're bringing people into your business, is through your follow-up list, the people that you talk to, the people that ghost you, the people who are not interested right now, the people who say no, but they continue to follow your story, they continue to like your posts, they had asked you a lot of questions previously and seemed really interested. You have to follow up with them, okay? That they are your recall list. They are the ones that have already been brought into your business, but they haven't scheduled anything. They're not on the schedule. We need to put them on the schedule. Okay. All right. Create loyalty and trust. You guys, returning patients versus returning customers. When you build a relationship, you build trust and loyalty. Guys, I worked for the same office almost the entire time I was a hygienist. And it was really hard to leave that office, though the best financial decision was to pursue coaching because I seen where it was taking me and my family. And it was really hard because I love my office. I had a great support system there. I love my dentist. She's still a Beachbody client of mine. She follows my stories almost every day now. And they welcome me in with open arms when I come in and I fill in to see my husband and my kids and my mom. And they let me come in and work the day and see all of them. And then I have all these patients that have just became like best friends. And I friended a lot of them on Facebook because I would get into conversations with them about what I was doing as a coach. And they would ask me a lot of questions. And I'd be like, can I friend you on Facebook and we can talk later and I'll tell you a little bit more about what I'm doing. And I had so many people that joined me in Beachbody. One of my patients was like a 70-year-old client. She lost 30 pounds. Okay. So she would come in and the dentist that I was working for was like, you look so good. She's like, well, that's thanks to Danielle. Guys, it like melted my heart. Don't be scared to talk to your patients about what you're doing. I never try to try and get them to do it or anything like that. I would just be talking like, oh yeah, what are you doing this weekend? I'd be like, oh, well, I'm planning this new group. I'm doing this detox group and I got to go grocery shopping for it. And I'm running it online for my team and a bunch of my Beachbody customers. And they'd be like, what's this detox? I was just chatting with them. But that's also how you build relationships. All right. As they see you more and more, then, they become your best friends. New patients are not always that trusting or friendly, right? But when they continue to see you, my example, I'm going to use an example of this mean, grumpy old guy. Like I had a couple of grumpy old men and I freaking hated when they came in. I was like, they are so grouchy. It would take me about 5, 6, 7, 8 visits, like one man in specifically, to get him to finally open up to me. And he would only see me. And it just took a long time to build trust. Guys, that's your new followers. Your new patient versus your new followers. They take some time to build trust in you, okay? Especially the ones that already have they're already prejudging you, right? Like, oh, she does that Beachbody thing. Like, oh, that pyramid. They're already prejudging you. So how do I get those people to break that wall, right? Well, when they were my patient, I would just sit and talk to them and chat with them. How are you doing? How's life been? I would take really good notes on anything they said that was personal in their life. And when they came back, I would ask them about it. And they'd be like, I remember the grumpy old guy. He was like, man, you got such a good memory. I'm like, yeah, I do. Really, I just took notes. But then I began to remember him and I began to remember his story. That's what happens when you talk to people. When people who follow you on social media, you reach out to them, your new followers, your story followers, they ghost you, you reach out, they ghost you, but you continue to show up in your story. You continue to show the type of person you are. You continue to kind of document your life and they begin to like you and trust you and know you. And then they finally start to talk to you or come to you when they're ready. Guys, it takes a little time to build trust from your new followers, from your cold market. So just know, it takes a little time with those, but your warm market are typically going to be the people that you focus on in the very beginning, right? Because it's going to take time to build that loyalty and trust from those new patients or those new followers. And one thing to kind of point out with that, guys, is once you have a loyal customer or a loyal patient, they believe that anything that you ask them to do or you tell them, they're going to do it. Like, you don't know how many people I reached out to do the detox today. I'm like, hey, I'm doing the detox next week. Do you want to do it with me? It's like a loyal customer or a discount coach that doesn't really do anything with the business. But when I reach out to them to do things with me, they're always like, yeah, let's do it. That's because we've already got this loyalty and trust going on, right? So anytime that I recommend something, they're like, okay, cool, I'll do that. It's not like a hard sell. It's, they trust me and they know, like, yes, I know I see you talk about the detox. Like, yes, I probably need to do it. Okay, let's do it. But with a new follower, it's going to be a bit harder, right? Like if I ask them to do the detox, they're going to be like, what's a detox? No. All right. So always growing. This is a slide that I added today. CE versus PD. Okay. You want to continue to learn. PD will help develop a growth mindset, right? PD is working on leadership. PD is working on learning things like maybe nutrition if you feel like you lack in that area or you want to know more. CE is continuing education that as hygienists and dentists, we have to, it's mandatory that we do it, right? But PD is personal development. You all, personal development is going to grow you in every aspect of your life. If you are struggling with confidence, if you are struggling with feeling like you're not a good leader, or how could you lead people, or you're struggling with whatever you could be struggling with, getting in your own way, right? There's going to be a personal development for you that is really great to listen to so you can learn from it, all right? If you are not working on changing the way that your mind thinks, the way that your mindset is, if you're not working to change that, then you're always going to stay the same and you're never going to grow, right? Just like continuing education. If we don't, as a hygienist or dentists who have to have the CEs and even the assistants, actually the entire office at times have to go to continuing ed things, especially things like CPR, because things change, right? We learn new stuff. Things don't always remain the same. Maybe there's an area as a dental professional you struggle with that a continuing education would help you become better, right? Personal development is no different. Personal development is something you got to be working on reading and listening to so you can improve your own mindset. And if you're like, where do I start with personal development? The National Wake Up Call is amazing. I consider it a personal development. In our Getting Started Right New Coach Call, there was a huge list of personal development recommendations. If you want a recommendation, always ask your sponsor because it's going there. What we need to know is where are you struggling before you can really make a recommendation. There's so many different types of PD out there. All right, so inviting to the business, ask your work crew to join you, y'all. They make great customers, great discount coaches, and great working coaches, all right? It's easier to stay on track when your office is doing it. We all know this, all right? If more people in your offices is doing it, then they're gonna choose healthier options for when they get takeout, right? Or they're gonna stay back with you when everybody else goes out to eat, okay? They're gonna be working on their goals with you. So they are going to be curious, all right? When I first brought in my cup with my shake, and they're like, oh, it's Shakeology, or I had my containers in the beginning, or they see me posting on social media about things, they're really curious. And we'd be in the break room, and they'd be like, oh, yeah, I see you doing your workout the other day. What is that? They're going to be asking questions. Don't be scared to talk about it. They already know, love, and trust you. You could do a fun work challenge, right? I've had some people doing that. So I'm going to use a couple examples. One example is my very first Emerald coach. I actually only had 2 coaches. I was a really serious working coach in the very beginning. Like I was active. I signed up for the business. But for the first 4 months, I had 2 coaches. Nobody wanted to join me. I was like, nobody wants to join me. Like, what am I doing wrong? I was being impatient is what I was doing wrong. And I was also approaching people with not for the discount. Like when I started really approaching people for the discount, that changed a lot for me. It eased them into the business. But I did have one working coach from the very beginning, and her name was Jessica. Her and I were hygienists together. Coaching brought us super close together, And she was one of my first diamonds. She was my first emerald. She was my first diamond. And she has stuck with me through the business, all the way through. So then I also had another work friend that was actually one of my first customers that I always told a story about her because her and I were just like more of acquaintances. And we were in the sterilization room together, and I was telling her about like, oh, I'm doing this Beachbody and I'm doing this like PIO program and da-da-da. Like I had literally just started. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. What all is it? So I started telling her, and I'm like, if you want, like I can, like we started talking about it. I was like, if you want, I can send you like some info tonight or something. She's like, yeah, sure. And she's like, well, I tried shakes before and I don't like any shakes. Like she was already hating on the shakes, and I was like, oh God, what do I say? What do I say? So I reached out to my sponsor, and I'm like, hey, I have somebody like I think could be interested. I don't know what to say to her. Like, can you help me through this? And so I messaged her that night, and that week she joined our challenge group that I was in with my sponsor, and she was the winner of the 60-day challenge. I think she lost like 35 pounds, but y'all, a year later, she lost 100 pounds, and she's kept it off. And her and I are super close. We talk quite frequently. She has signed up as a discount coach. She was actually my assistant in my coaching business there for a little bit until I had Chris. She helped me with a lot of things. And so I just want to share with you guys, like your work crew, that's where I kind of built my business. It wasn't my best friend. It wasn't people super close to me. It was like the people that was in my office. Cause I was like, hey guys, let's do this together. If anybody was interested, because everybody started asking me questions, they became really super curious about it. So don't be scared to share this with your work family. Because I'm pretty sure that between Jessica and I, because we worked in the same office, we got the entire office signed up, which was really cool. Okay, I am going to exit my screen. And I am going to stop the recording.